how environmental toxins silently disrupt hormones, and how to reclaim balance by restoring the terrain. Hormonal imbalances today are far more than what people might say is just low testosterone or high cortisol. Fatigue, low libido, stubborn fat, disrupted sleep, mood swings, infertility, and earlier puberty are becoming common across ages. But these shifts are not inevitable. They're largely the result of chemical interference with the endocrine system. The 50 or so different known hormones we have are signaling molecules. Chemicals in our environment today can block hormone synthesis, the making of them, mimic hormones, hijack receptor sites, alter hormone breakdown, or impair the body's ability to regulate the endocrine network. These endocrine disrupting chemicals, or EDCs, are everywhere, and they're not harmless. Let's break down how hormones are supposed to operate, how EDCs interfere, and what you can do to restore balance starting with the terrain. How do hormones communicate, and how easy is it to disrupt them? Hormones are chemical messengers that regulate development, metabolism, reproduction, stress response, and energy balance. Their interaction with cells depends on precise receptor binding, like keys fitting into specific locks. But many common chemicals interfere with this process by mimicking natural hormones, blocking hormone receptors, altering hormone synthesis or metabolism, and modifying hormone sensitivity or signaling pathways. These effects are not hypothetical. Decades of research show that EDCs can interfere with androgen, estrogen, and steroid signaling and lead to systemic disruptions in endocrine functions. That's why exposures to even low doses of certain pesticides, plastic chemicals, and industrial compounds can contribute to widespread changes in reproductive health, growth patterns, and metabolic function. Where do hormone-disrupting chemicals come from? These chemicals are now pervasive in modern life. They show up in food packaging, plastics, pesticides, personal care products, water supplies, and the air we breathe. Here are some of the most common offenders. Bisphenols and plastic additives, also known as BPA. BPA and related compounds are classic endocrine disruptors. They can leach from containers into food and beverages and have been linked to altered hormone activity and developmental effects. Also phthalates, used in plastics, vinyl, and personal care products. Phthalates have been shown to interfere with testosterone production and male reproductive development. There's also pesticides and herbicides. Many pesticides have endocrine activity. Atrazine, which is a widely used herbicide associated with endocrine disruption and reproductive effects, has been banned in the EU because of health concerns. Other pesticides show hormonal activity and reproductive toxicity in lab models. Some studies show that glyphosate-based herbicides, not just glyphosate itself, can alter estrogen-linked pathways and disrupt reproductive tissues in animal models at environmentally relevant exposures. The rising chemical flood and endocrine health. Chemical production has increased exponentially since the 1950s, and many compounds have never been adequately tested for hormonal effects. A global report warns that plasticizers, pesticides, and PFAS chemicals are contributing to infertility, hormone disruption, and non-communicable diseases at a population scale. Because these chemicals accumulate in water, soil, food, and human tissues, they create chronic low-level exposures that challenge the body's ability to maintain homeostasis. How to protect yourself from hormone disruptors. Reducing exposure is the first major step in terrain restoration. Here's how. Stop eating highly processed foods. Processed foods often contain soy derivatives, plastic contact residues, and pesticide residues, and microwave packaging can accelerate chemical leaching. Avoid cheap plastics. Use glass, stainless steel, or certified safe containers. BPA-free doesn't mean EDC-free, so err on the side of caution. Improve water quality. Not all water filters are equal, and traditional city water treatment often fails to remove many EDCs. Distilling systems remove PFAS and other contaminants from drinking water. Reverse osmosis water systems are often used for whole house filtration, and has even been shown to eliminate hormone residues like estrogen and testosterone in pilot water treatment settings. Choose organic and whole foods. Prioritize organic produce and 100% grass-fed and finished or wild game meats. Avoid the quote dirty dozen, which are 12 of the most heavily sprayed fruits and vegetables, and reduce dietary pesticide exposure. Use clean personal care products. Look for verified EWG, NSF, or similar certifications to avoid phthalates, parabens, and fragrance chemicals linked to hormonal interference. Or better yet, use simple DIY personal care products. Reducing exposures only goes so far. We also need to remove what has already accumulated and support the body's natural detox systems so hormones can communicate properly again. Restoring endocrine balance requires clearing accumulated toxins, supporting detox organs and pathways, and rebuilding metabolic and hormonal terrain. MasterPeace, a broad-spectrum detox solution. MasterPeace combines nano and sub-nano zeolite with mineral replenishment to help bind and remove toxic metals and leftover chemical residues that interfere with hormone receptors and endocrine signaling. Because restoring mineral balance is essential to detox pathways, this dual-action approach supports both clearance and foundational terrain repair. Other supportive nutrients and formulas. Solargy. Sprayed on food just prior to eating will help add minerals, including natural salt, to your meals and bind hormone-disrupting chemicals due to adding our proprietary zeolite. Master Restore, used on an empty stomach, can bind to lingering toxic particulates in the gut before they get absorbed, and also larger particles in the micron range that MasterPeace can't chelate. Diindolyl methane, or DIM, is a natural compound formed from cruciferous vegetables that supports hormone balance by improving how the body metabolizes estrogen, and by extension, helps maintain healthier testosterone levels in both sexes. It helps shift estrogen towards its beneficial pathways while reducing the buildup of aggressive estrogen metabolites. DIM also assists the liver in clearing both excess estrogen and estrogen-mimicking environmental toxins. Restore the terrain, reclaim hormone balance. Hormone imbalance isn't a mystery, it's a terrain problem. Chronic exposure to endocrine disruptors interferes with the very chemistry your body evolved to use. By reducing exposures, improving detox capacity, supporting gut health, and providing targeted nutrition, you give your endocrine system the environment it needs to recalibrate.